What are the underlying processes that cause pain and discomfort in the body? Now, if science revealed a profound new insight that is challenging the drug industry, would that create curiosity? Well, it did for me. If that science made simple sense, would it be worth taking a look at and even trying? When a former NASA engineer sat me down and told me what I'm about to share, I have to admit, I was certainly a bit of a skeptic at first. As he started peeling back the onion for me, I only became more curious about his science. Now, to be fair, I hold a patent in the field of energy sciences, so a lot of what he revealed made sense at a surface level. My work in infrared light technologies to increase circulation in capillaries, improve lymphatic flow, reduce inflammation, and confuse pain signals, much like a Bose noise cancellation device, cemented my belief in energy sciences to begin with. In fact, infrared saunas and products have exploded in the last 2 decades to cover a lot of topics from wrinkle reduction, clinical dermatology products, and even hair regrowth products. Without a doubt, these products work, yet their challenge has always been the inordinate amount of time or sessions an individual must endure to see the effects. There's no guarantee, although statistically relevant numbers of people have received results that warrant patents, various government approvals, and a plethora of medi-spas that deliver pricey sessions. The fact remains, we know energy has profound effects on the body. New disease state treatments include peppering the body with energy. There are even modern surgeries with tools like a cyberknife. Without any cutting or scalpels, this device fires a tiny, powerful beam of photon light deep through the skin and into tissues from a myriad of angles to shrink tumors. Modern medical science is growing daily. Yet what this researcher and engineer was sharing was in many ways a surprise to me, as its roots went way farther back in history than I could have guessed. In practice, today what I learned, and again I will share with you in the following moments, was practically profound, and it became crystal clear why the drug industry would do everything it could to shield this information from the people in pain that need it most. Before I go one step further, you need to know that my personal interest in this specific area of frequency therapeutic technologies accelerated after I had the opportunity to personally try what I'm about to describe and find success myself. Additionally, my experience led me to ask to interview other people who use this space-age technology to live better with a variety of states. As you may or may not know, there are no drugs that cure anything. Drugs, for the most part, treat or suppress symptoms. The only thing that really heals or cures is the body itself. The body is the best healing system in the world. My personal quest, along with a legion of other inventors, experts, physicians, engineers, and physicists, is finding non-drug modalities to stimulate the body into doing what it does best: correct itself. What you're about to discover is something that may make you think of Star Trek type science fiction. So you will be questioning whether the future is really here today with energy and frequencies. I believe it is, based on what I've witnessed. To understand what is occurring in our bodies may require expanding our knowledge of biology to start including the realm of physics and frequency as well. You probably remember back to high school physics or math to recall that all matter is made up of atoms that are vibrating at a certain frequency. The oak desk has complex molecules that make up its matter, vibrating at a certain frequency that holds the configuration of its shape, density, and mass, and we know it to be oak. The same is true with the stone floor, the glass window, a coffee cup, even the liquid inside of it. The same is true for your entire body. Your liver has atoms vibrating at the frequency of, hopefully, a healthy liver. The same with your skin, your brain, and every other organ or structure in the body. When we start to think deeply about this, we soon come to the realization that our bodies are made up of literally hundreds of thousands of unique tissues, each following a unique frequency signature. Your body is a symphony of independent and yet intertwined frequencies. It includes trillions of cells in thousands of systems and functionalities. When you are healthy, all of these frequencies are pretty much in harmony. A disruption in the system can cause minor or major problems. They can be slow to onset, like arthritis, or they can be rapid, like an impact causing a broken bone, bruise, cut, or swelling and inflammation. Causes of pain and discomfort can range from diet, injury, disease, self-abuse like drugs or alcohol, and a variety of genetic or environmental causes. Almost without exception, we can see these issues all cause frequency disruptions to the body. Now, this readily makes sense to most of us. Break a leg on the oak desk and you have radically broken a chain of frequency of a healthy table leg. Do the same to a human leg, there's a frequency disruption in it. Makes perfect sense. What we do not often realize is that the emotional states of a human also have a frequency. We can read a brain and tell you if it's in an alpha state, beta state, or delta with a very simple scan. This may be something you've never considered. To take it even further, we can utilize tools to read the change in frequency in a brain that's relaxed, meditative, concentrated, angry, happy, you name it. Bottom line, every part of us is possessing a frequency that is measurable and identifiable. Every organ, both healthy or unhealthy, and every state of emotion has a frequency signature. At the beginning of the 20th century, Nikola Tesla did remarkable work that demonstrated energy could be physically transmitted across space without wires and be quite useful to humanity. Industrialists could not readily understand his secrets, nor how to meter and charge the public for this discovery. Just now, over 100 years later, we're starting to rediscover Tesla and considering his science and its potential for a free energy future. At the same time, Thomas Edison demonstrated energy could be generated by movement of a turbine or a dynamo, transforming mechanical power into electricity that could be metered and charged for. General Electric was born, and the entire age of industry of electric homes was created. At approximately the same time, there were advances in energy technologies and frequencies in medicine that proved to be similar to Tesla, extremely effective, yet not nearly as profitable as the industry of drugs. Drugs are a metered and predictable form of treatment. You can certainly see that industry has grown into billions and billions of revenue, based on a consumable form of patented healthcare, ingestible and injectable products. What you're about to experience is a renaissance of frequency and energy therapeutics as both scientists and consumers rediscover another path for optimizing health and living better while managing systems with frequencies as a primary health tool. Just like rediscovering Tesla, these health frequency technologies were very accidentally tripped upon in the most unlikely place. It's no secret that chiropractors have long stood as a pariah in the medical community. MDs as a group have historically been at odds with chiropractors, even calling themselves doctors. I remember as a child in the 1970s hearing chiropractors routinely called quacks, and worse. What time has demonstrated is that these folks that mechanically stimulate nerves, tissues, bones, and movement are incredibly useful. They're therapeutic and practical. This is not a video about the validity of chiropractics. Millions of satisfied clients visit tens of thousands of chiropractors weekly. Chiropractors are valid, they're real, and the techniques are accepted today. In a few more minutes, you'll possibly feel similarly about frequency technologies. The great insight you'll receive here is that energy is being proved daily in research labs and studies, yet 90% of the protocols can be done by you and me, the layperson, in the comfort and privacy of our own homes, even on the go, with zero instruction or expertise with the right tools. In the early 1940s, a professional healthcare provider, Harry Van Gelder, a DO osteopath and ND naturopathic doctor, purchased a practice and office from a retiring practitioner. Inside one of the patient treatment rooms, he came across a frequency machine comprising several dials with frequency settings and an accompanying instruction sheet. The exhaustive list included a host of conditions and coordinated lists of frequencies to treat each one. The idea being the attending technician would apply a couple of electrode pads to the surface of the subject's skin and run a low voltage microcurrent through the body. It was clear that since the human body is composed primarily of water, this resonance would disperse throughout. This was the moment of the modern discovery of this technology, and in the subsequent 8 decades, researchers and doctors have safely tested the methodology with these identical frequencies on themselves and thousands of patients. This very underground testing spread by word of mouth, and volunteers came forth and requested to be part of this quiet, growing community. For years, the engineering of such devices was across a broad spectrum of individuals who constantly came across the challenge of duplicating the original device. The main challenge was a technician was required to operate the device because over the course of a single treatment, a number of frequencies are utilized in both succession and at the same time. You might compare it to playing chords on, say, a church organ. Eventually, a cottage industry was born in the early 1990s of engineers speculating with large magnetic devices and smaller programmable devices that treated either an individual condition or focused on one single varying frequency. To extend the prior analogy, more like a xylophone producing a single changing frequency. Now, marketers entered the fray, and the device development seemed to overtake the actual underlying technology, and the marketplace became inundated with ultra-low frequency devices that operate on single frequencies. I personally have been approached by over 5 companies in the frequency space, all of whom had some decent efficacy in their device and their protocols, yet none satisfied my threshold of satisfaction for true usability and functionability for the consumer. And to be fair, I did not have the full story on the history or the mechanics of what was going on here. As much as I believed in energy therapeutics, it wasn't until Mark Fox, an associate who had worked as a chemical engineer on the space shuttle program, shared the science and history. Fox is a man that I've worked on a number of projects with, as I've relied on him to develop a variety of projects, including testing of biological metric testing and outcomes for people attempting to enter sustainable ketosis. He's a scientist with a ferocious appetite for debunking garbage science and bogus claims. He's intimately familiar with the processes of the federal regulatory agencies and the testing requirements for the National Institutes of Health. His understanding of engineering, physics, electronics, and chemical processes is mind-numbing. His adherence to valid scientific arguments is ruthless. Fox will adeptly and kindly point out any error or misstep, either morally, ethically, or scientifically, that you may be making and kindly course correct you. He gave me all the tools I needed to deep dive into the topic of resonant frequency therapy and a fairly expensive prototype to test. He pointed me to go fact find every single thing I've shared thus far. It all checked out 150%. Now, before we go any further, I want to give you a couple of simple examples of how resonant frequency occurs. Let's start with this simple example of sympathetic frequency. Here we have 4 tuning forks, 2 identical pairs. I can put them about a foot apart, and when I strike this one, its identical mate starts to sympathetically ring from a distance without being touched. What is causing this is an energy waveform that's a natural frequency. The wave is traveling as a mechanical sound wave of sound pushing air in a path that causes the identical action in the twin fork. Notice the other 2 forks stayed silent. They're tuned to a different sound frequency. Now I can take the second set of twins and strike one, and its mate rings again. These 2 stay silent. It's kind of amazing. Again, this is a base mechanical example that utilizes air as the medium of transfer of what is essentially information in the form of a sound wave. Now, your first logical question will be, sure, that works for sound and breaking a champagne glass and such, but what about a human body? I'll show you a strong visual for more frequencies in a second, yet first let me give you a very clear example where frequency is used daily to save and extend human lives. This video is of a pacemaker. Over 450,000 people have them. A pacemaker is a resonance frequency device that runs off a very small battery that can last up to 10 years. What it does is a great and miraculous example of frequency. It first detects if the heartbeat gets out of rhythm, then instantaneously it sends out a microcurrent frequency that causes millions of neurons in the heart muscle to synchronize and pulse in harmony, kind of like the tuning fork. This technology has been widely utilized since the 1970s, so it's not only safe, it's proven to save lives. Here's another great simple view of frequency as we can see it with the naked eye. This plate is wired to a device producing a vibrational frequency via an electromagnetic generator. On it is table salt. We can see how when the frequency is changed, the distinct pattern changes. The important thing to see here is that the shape of the frequencies as you move through them radically change uniquely one from another. The lesson is that a subtle and deliberate change in a frequency has a noteworthy and substantial difference. This is the Resona Health VIBE. This is a commercially available resonance frequency therapy device based on the dynamic symphonic resonances that Harry Van Gelder inherited with his practice 80 years ago. What makes this device recommended and the state of the art in resonance frequency technology is simple. It creates multiple symphonic waves that play simultaneously. Other devices produce single individual waves one at a time. This device produces multiple layers of frequency at the exact same time, exactly in the length and the overlay that the original protocols called for. This could only be done with digital technology. The VIBE has over 47 copyrights on the symphonic frequencies. This means they're not available anywhere else, nor will they ever be. One last technical specification is essential to understand. Each resonance frequency symphonic has a location that highlights a location in the body and a balancing frequency to sympathetically sync that organ or symptom. This is the only device in its class to deliver this level of precision. Personally, I've experienced relief from asthma with the VIBE protocol. I've utilized the device whenever symptoms appeared successfully. They leave in minutes. My personal experience is that they do not recur with notable frequency. I may have a complete session once every few months to help an issue that I was having near daily before. So it does creep back and I do use the device over time. I've also successfully utilized the VIBE for arthritis. I've broken my sternum and 2 discs in separate accidents. I also experienced joint pain in my fingers, hands, and knees. I address these successfully quite frequently. The sessions are far enough apart, I must keep track of them on the calendar though. It's not a daily problem. The VIBE delivers the right sympathetic vibrational resonance I need for my body. It also clearly works for emotional states and the mind. Here are several images of human brains. You can see in this stressed mind a hyperactivity in the frontal lobes. This is what obsessive compulsive thinking or even anger looks like. Here's a healthy brain in a state of meditative, awake calm. Which brain do you want? One that is anxious, hypersensitive, and irritated, or a calm, happy mind? There are protocols with VIBE for this. In fact, there are over 40 protocols you can select from at your fingertips to address everything from influencing acne to pain. Yes, healthy skin has a frequency. You can help reach that state with a sympathetic resonant frequency for this. Every day the VIBE audience grows, primarily through people like you and me that find success with it and then share it with others like I have today. This scientific approach to relief will never get the endorsement of big pharma for obvious reasons. You buy it once and you have it forever. You can even share it. That will never be a model of the prescription industry. There are no monthly subscriptions or membership fees. To ensure you feel comfortable trying this device, which regularly retails for $499 and is well worth it, don't touch a thing. CEO and founder of Resona Health and VIBE has an incredible thank you and share offer for having been kind enough to watch and get this valuable education. He's got a risk-free offer you should really take advantage of. Here's CEO Mark Fox.
Hi, I'm Mark Fox, founder of Resona Health. I'm committed to bring safe, smart, healthy, and drug-free solutions to the world. As a Space Shuttle Chief Engineer and Army veteran, I research, test, and connect with as many smart scientists as possible. I'd like to say I invented this technology. That's just simply not true. I discovered the history of these frequencies and simply engineered a device that fully expresses the best this technology has to offer. I say simply, but it took years. I further expanded the technology by restoring fairly complicated protocols and placed them at your fingertips for simplicity. I want to disclose the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Nobody knows exactly why or how this works. It's frankly a mystery. We have a lot of theories. It has been shown to recharge your cell's batteries and increase ATP, which is the main fuel for your cells. But to be honest, I cannot say for sure how it works. We've tested it for years to make sure it's safe, but cannot explain why it works. I can explain what I think is happening. It gently resonates with the water in your body with natural, healthy frequencies when it appears to be out of sync, and the body self-corrects about 92% of the time. My motto is relief before reason. Now that you have an understanding of this, we did impress the value of our bodies being mostly water and being hydrated when we submit to resonant frequency therapy. When you use VIBE, you want to be hydrated. That means drink about 4 glasses of water in the 4 hours before you start the therapy to get the best effect. I hope this works for you.